Come on. Here we go. Now we're live. What's up, everybody? And YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to Evergreen Marketing Live. Trevor, how you been, man? What's been going on in your world?
Dude, summer's been great. One thing I've been doing with a lot more intentionality this summer is asking the question, what would make today amazing? And then making sure to do those things. And so there's been so many days where it's like, oh, that day was awesome. And it was like one little tweak. It wasn't anything big, but it was being really intentional. So I've had a lot of amazing days stacked up, which has been good.
Have you been doing a 5-minute journal? 5-minute gratitude journal? I saw it on your desk.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it started about a week ago. So I showed the 5-minute journal on an Epic call yesterday.
Yeah.
But I picked up my one at home that I started writing that, Brady. It's almost embarrassing, but I started writing it in 2018. And then I stopped after a month. Then I picked it back up in 2019.
Yeah.
And hadn't picked it up until I think it was later in 2021. And then I hadn't touched it until today, or this last week. And the big reason for me goes back to that intentionality word, right? Which I talk about on the Entrepreneur Freedom Formula podcast. So those of you guys and gals that are watching this, check out the Entrepreneur Freedom Formula podcast where I unpack those ideas. But yeah, dude, I was like, man, I just want to put my brain into more of a reflective state, more intentional. And I feel that when that happens, other good things become more clear.
Yeah.
And it works.
That's awesome. It's funny you say this. I think we got our journals at the same time because I think it was a carrot retreat where we got them. But I started mine, sometime right before the pandemic, and then it's actually kind of cool how it happened. I did the same thing. I didn't stick to it every single day, but I loved it because it's like write down 3 things you're grateful for, and then what would make today amazing.
Yep.
I never do the night portion. It's just not me. But it really does like change your whole perspective on like what's the one thing that would make today great? Okay, maybe it's time with my kids. Maybe it's getting this one thing off my chest or off my shoulders. But yeah, I started mine right before the pandemic and then fell off the wagon, which was really cool because I have a journal essentially that walks me through like the pandemic. And I had a serious like hand injury that year. And then we went through adoption after that, like all these cool little things. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like the cliff notes of the last like major events over the last few years.
Dude, and one last thing on this is when you're intentional about that and asking that question, like what 1 or what 3 things would make today amazing. I was asking my daughter, Sydney, that on the way to gymnastics today. I'm like, Sydney, what are 3 things that make today amazing? Because if you ask, well, hey, how's the day? Or what do you want to do today? They're like, well, I don't know. Like oftentimes, like, I don't know. But no, like Sydney, what are 3 things that would make today amazing? Yeah. And she named 3 things.
Disney?
She's like, she's like, well, no, for gymnastics, she just got her grips. So I guess this year in level 4, they get grips for the bars. Yeah. And she goes, well, I want to be able to do my kip on with the grips today. She's like, that would be awesome. I'm like, okay, cool. I like it. What else? Well, go to Waylani and get shave ice. And they're already doing that. So that was already on her list. But she's like, yeah, that would make today amazing. Yeah. And I said, well, what else? And they're going up to Eugene to drop our friends off up there with their parents. And she's like, you know what? If we could go to Defy while we're in Eugene, that would be really awesome. I go, okay, cool. So now you named those things. Go talk to mom and see if you guys can go to Defy. Yeah. And then you look back at the end of the day, you stack up these memories and go, that was an amazing day. So anyway, little sidebar there, y'all. Nothing to do with our topic today on marketing, but everything to do with how do we live a life that we love and build a business that supports it.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yep.
All right, so what are we talking about today? Besides gratitude journals, we're talking about what top-ranking sites in Google do. I'm really excited for this episode, but let me go ahead and roll the intro, and let's dive into it here. Here we go. All right. If you want to know what it takes to rank your real estate website in competitive markets, we do too. So we already had a pretty good idea of what it takes, but we wanted to back it up with some data and proof from Carrot members. So we did a little data dive. We did a little study of our own. What we did is we analyzed the top ranking Carrot sites across 8 different markets. So 6 largish markets, 1 medium market, and 1 small market called Roseburg, home of Carrot HQ. We analyzed it for the most competitive keyword in our industry: sell my house fast, city and state. to answer the question on this week's Evergreen Marketing Live of what does it take to rank. So we're going to dive in. We're going to share what specific actions are driving the high rankings and talk about the things that these Carrot members are doing right. So we're changing up the format a little bit for you guys. So Trevor and I are going to give you the Cliff Notes. We're going to aim to keep this under about 15 minutes. And then for those of you that are with us live, if you're not listening to the podcast, but if you're on YouTube or Facebook right now, after the podcast version, we're going to do a coaching call, live Q&A. So pop in your questions right now. We'll get to them afterwards. Anything to do with Carrot or this topic, let us know. We'd love to help you out. But we're going to get real tactical. But first, let's dive into the Cliff Notes. So we did a blog post about this too. We released it a few weeks ago. You can check it out there. But we thought it'd be fun to talk through these and give you some more context for what this data means. But let's dive into it, Trevor. First one of the 7. About pages. They have well-edited, robust about pages that are far from stock.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, and with this list, as we dive in, the context I want to set is we're not really listing these in any order. Right. Yeah. It's not, hey, this is most important. This is second most important. These are just 7 of the probably many elements that the top ranking sites, when we look at some of those ones that are ranking really well in certain markets, are all doing. And so we're looking for correlation. Yeah. Now, it might not necessarily mean causation here. So if you're like a data scientist person, correlation and causation are different. Google those. But we're talking about correlation here. But we do strongly feel that when these 7 things are done well, they do cause together cause a better ranking.
Yeah, okay. And even though these 7 aren't in perfect order, these 7 out of the million things that you could do, these are going to move the needle.
Yep, exactly. So going back to what we talked about a month ago with EAT, expertise, experience, authority, and trust, we really need to make sure that we're, number one, guiding people down a path on our websites, but also building that trust and authority. So we published this. We were the first ones to publish this and talk about this years ago. This is probably 2017. But in our data, we showed always the number, and still today, the number 3, maybe number 4 most visited, most clicked on page across all websites, no matter what types of website were on our platform, was always the about page. And so, in 2017, 2018, we hit it hard to say start to build robust about pages, y'all. That action that y'all have been taking for years, who've been following our guidance, is paying dividends, because those who have a real customized, real about page that's robust, that has a picture, that has a little bit of a story, maybe your core values, maybe some things like that that engage someone, make them feel comfortable, they really, really help in a big way. So what we're asking here was not, hey, are these 5 elements on the about page? We said, did they put time into customizing the about page? And in the data that we have, what's the number there? It was,
I think it was almost all of them. It was exactly all but one.
Yep, 98% or so of all of the sites that were in this small study all had a customized, robust about page, y'all. 98%. So there's a real heavy correlation there, big time.
Yeah, that's crazy. So take the time. If you're a Carrot member and you haven't customized your about page yet and worked on that, pause this, drop what you're doing, go do that, and then come back to us, okay?
Yep, and we will show examples. So this is the quick overview version to introduce you to marketing ideas. Once we wrap up this podcast episode, we're going to head into the Facebook group and show real examples where we do the deep dive on some of these. So if you ever want the deep dive and you love these concepts in the podcast version or the YouTube version, head over to our community. It's community.carrot.com, and you'll be able to see the video of the deep dive or in our YouTube channel.
All right, second thing. So they're leveraging location pages. And so people are Googling, some of these high ranking websites, like Sell My House Fast, Dallas, Texas. They're launching location pages for the suburbs of Dallas, like Sell My House Fast, Sugar Land, Texas. I think that's a suburb of Dallas. I think so. Yeah, Sell My House Fast.
Sounds right.
Fort Worth, So they're hitting the suburbs, the counties, the areas around their main market to capture leads that other people aren't picking up. And so they're hitting all these different areas that people are either typing in and or that Google is recognizing the location and serving them results for those specific areas instead of just a massive city. So that's one thing they're doing right. The cool thing is we came out with a tool a while back called Auto Location Pages. What it does is basically copy your home page and create a location page with a unique URL for that location based off your home page. And it swaps out the location for a new location, so you don't have to recreate all of that. So as long as you have a high converting homepage with testimonials and the form and all the magic that makes it high converting, you can make a location page pretty much in a few clicks. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Trevor, what kind of location pages would you recommend starting out with?
Yeah, I mean, the first spot I always guide people on is number one, what's your primary market, right? And there's always the question of, well, what do I put on my homepage? And so what my rule of thumb is really quickly here, guys, we have YouTube videos on this topic, is cast that vision out 5 years, right? And say, where do I envision my business being? Is it always going to be in Roseburg, Oregon? We're never going to expand out, or there's no vision to over the next 5 or 10 years? Or no, it's going to be in these 5 cities, but we're always going to be in Oregon. Or maybe you're like, no, I'm only in Roseburg now, but I really see us being regional or national. Make it so your website encompasses, on the homepage, encompasses the whole broad market that you do business in, or that you would see yourself growing into over the next 3 to 5 years. And then do your first 5 to 10 location pages. What is my primary market? Do one for that. And then do one for any cities or markets that are, that are real cities, that are at least, let's say, 30,000 people or above, right around that city.
Yeah.
So start there. One last thing is always do a state page as well. So if your market is not the state as a whole, like let's say you're never going to expand outside of Oregon, but you're in 10 cities in Oregon, you might say sell your Oregon house fast, right, as your homepage. So if you have that, you don't need a state page.
Yeah.
But if you are Roseburg focused, you would need a state page as one of your location pages.
A separate state page, which you can still do with the auto location tool. Number 3, they're doing some video. They're doing video marketing. I don't know, a lot of y'all are going to hear this and roll your eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're telling me like everyone who's crushing is doing video. That's what we've been saying for years. Just a lot of people don't want to do it.
Man.
Okay, so 70% of the websites we looked at with top rankings have a video on their page. Has ranged from, a lot of them were like low to mid quality, just cell phone video, like testimonials of them at closing saying, hey, what was it like working with us? What was your experience? A couple of them were more well put together about videos, but over 70% of them had videos on their website, and that's just what they're doing. They're putting up testimonials. And so I say, if you haven't done video, start there, start with testimonials, and then move on to an about video. Maybe that's something you do on your cell phone, or hire a videographer for once you have like a better feel for, what you want to say.
And make it simple, guys. Like Brady said, whip out the cell phone at the start.
Yep.
Just do something. Take action. You can always make a fancier one later. And last week, me and Mallory talked about the Google leak. We did like hey, 2 months at post Google leak, what do we continue to know? What do we want to pass on? One of the biggies is that Google, in that document, alluded to that they will see the transcripts on a Google video and actually leverage what's in the transcript of that Google video that Google makes as information for your website. So not saying it's for sure, but if you have those videos on there, the odds are that Google recognizes the content in those, and it can also help with the overall authority and credibility of the site.
Yeah. I thought that was wildly interesting from the Google leak. My takeaway from that was like, man, we need to really articulate. It's almost like backlinks in a way. They're looking at transcripts to say like, oh, was carrot.com was carrot.com.
Yeah, so not saying carrot, but
I'm not gaming it.
Yeah, carrot.com, that's right.
Yeah, carrot.com. All right. Anyways, you get the idea. Number 4, they're going after organic keywords. So they're going after organic keywords naturally without stuffing. None of these websites were stuffing their keywords, and they're going after natural phrases that people would type in. And they are refreshing their content regularly. So they're adding new blogs, they're adding new location pages, but they're after they've launched their website and got their main core conversion pages up, they're adding new content to the website to keep it fresh and to keep it regular.
Dude, I saw a test recently. So Ahrefs, massive SEO tool, they ran a test on a YouTube video, and I've seen this happen before, where the only thing they changed in these 5 posts, they wanted to see if date published would matter, because they made big updates to these posts, and they kind of made some headway, but then they kind of sat back, and they said, what if we just updated the date and that was it? On 4 out of the 5 where they updated the date, it spiked the rankings. That was it. All they updated was the date to show it was more recent. So Google does want to see fresh, recent content. Does that mean that that's always going to outrank? No, but it helps. So if you have blogs on your site, when you go in there, update it or put in there, it'll make a thing that says updated blog, whatever date. So go in there, make a couple sentences, update, hit update. If it's a 3-year-old blog post that you want to get ranking high again, if it was, that might help.
Yeah, especially if there's any data or statistics in it, like just make sure it's up to date for the current year. And I don't know how most people look at blogs, but whenever I land on a blog, I'm looking at title, and then the second place my eyes go is what's that date? Because I'm like, if I'm scrubbing through Google, I'm like, I want to make sure this is relevant. You know, and if it's older than like year and a half, I'm like, nah, I usually bounce back. So that could be, or kind of guessing, but it could be a thing. Like you're going to have less time on page from your visitors because people are seeing, oh, this is an old blog post. I'm going to bounce, go find a fresh one.
That applies to blogs a lot, and it can apply to homepage and location pages, but you don't have dates on those. But Google can recognize when content's updated. If it's the exact same as it was 2 years ago versus today, just make some updates from time to time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, number 5, they're link friendly. They're building trust and authority with strategic links. So this is 2 in 1. There's 2 things they're doing right, and they go hand in hand. So the first one is internal linking. They are linking specific pages to each other. For instance, your homepage, a lot of these had a section on their homepage where they have all of their locations that they do business in listed out. You click on that location or click on the link and it takes you to a location page. So that's one example. Another example is maybe they're using our niche authority builder where they launch a page about a specific topic, and then under that page there's a bunch of supporting posts that are all that dive deeper into that topic and link back to each other. So as they're reading the post, they link to each other. So they're doing internal linking right, which we have more guides on this in the Help Center if you want to learn about it or dive into the niche authority builder. The other thing was backlinks. So they're building backlinks. Obviously, like it takes backlinks to rank. It doesn't always take a lot, but they're doing backlinks right. So I want to dive into it right now so bad, but maybe we save that for a couple minutes.
We're going to hit that hard in the deep dive post this podcast in the community. The one thing I will mention, Brady, is the average in this. If we were to throw out the high number, you have one site had 330 internal links in this study. The lowest one was 27. So if we throw that out, the real average is probably around 40 or 50. And the aim, people might ask, well, why do internal links matter? It's all about usability. It's all about, am I helping guide that visitor towards a path and helping them find the answer in an easy way? This is not new. This is something we literally baked into the Carrot templates starting in 2014, and that's one of the reasons that you guys have a better chance of performance with Carrot out of the box. But when you're adding your location pages and building other stuff, be aware. Every location page should have a internal link or 2 that goes to something else, and it's going to really help.
All right. So we'll dive into that in just a minute, but that's number 5. Number 6, testimonials. Again, something we've been saying for years, we're never going to stop talking about because it helps for conversion too. You need it for conversion, but 85% of the top ranked sites that we looked at had text-based testimonials on their page. So you can do this in different ways. You can use our testimonial tool to have basically put in a testimonial and have it populate on a bunch of different pages so you don't have to go upload it a million times. But you can do screenshots of Google reviews. You can put text in there. You can do all sorts of things. You have video testimonials, but 85% of the top ranking websites had testimonials.
And Google recognizes what a testimonial is, right? So it knows when it goes on there, it's somebody talking about an experience with you. And they can recognize photos and things like that. So if you are uploading a photo with that testimonial, in that alt text, say, house seller in whatever Mississippi, XYZ company name review. You could even say the seller's name if they included their name in that alt text, things like that. So really package those testimonials in a way and make it easy for Google and the reader to recognize, this is a person talking about experience with your company.
It reminds me, yesterday I ran across somebody's Shopify website, and they were selling like these candles and no reviews at all. And you see that in like a lot of Shopify sites, or someone just launched a Wix website and they'll have like testimonial placeholders or no testimonials. Even people will launch a brand new WordPress site and they do all this stuff but no testimonials. And I'm like, you don't see those sites ranking.
Dude, a real world example, my daughters are redoing their bedroom and they want these new beds because they've kind of grown out of their kiddie beds. And my oldest daughter found the perfect bed. She's like, this is it. And they both agreed that they want 2 of these beds and they're going to work to sell the other beds and take that money and put them towards these beds. And we looked at it. She's wanting me to order them. I pulled it up on Amazon and I'm like, sis, the beds look great, but there's only 2 reviews on it. And I'm like, I don't know, we can order them, but it's going to be $99 in shipping. here, and if we don't like it, it's probably gonna be 99 back. So we're out $200 maybe if we don't like them. There's only 2 reviews.
Yeah.
These other ones over here, that one's got like 1,000. I don't like that bed. I don't know. It's a risk. So what happened? We never ended up ordering that bed. Yeah. It looked great. Everything about it looked great, except for the social proof, and that stopped the sale.
It happens. That's real. Number 7, high quality. They had high quality authoritative content. So here's what I mean by this. So what we did with these websites is we took the text from their homepage and a few of their other pages, threw it into Google with a prompt, and said, basically give us an EAT score. Like it, we told it what EAT is. Probably already knew. We probably didn't even have to, but based on what EAT is and what Google wants to see, give us like an A through C rating. And so what we found was that 90% of the number 1 ranked sites had an EAT score of B+ or above. And so that's just something worth mentioning. In the beginning, Trevor was talking about like correlation versus causation. Some people will say, okay, EAT doesn't matter. And some experts will say, okay, EAT is way overrated. It may be the case, but EAT is going to, having a higher EAT score and quality content is what is going to get people to stay on your pages. Yep. And that's what Google wants to see. They want to see people on your website hanging out to rank you higher.
And go back and listen to the entire EAT series that we did, y'all, because we dive in deep on EAT. So a lot of you guys are going, great, but what is that? How do you get a high score? We have 4 full episodes in the Evergreen Marketing Show that get it deeply. So go unpack those and go execute. We got you covered in those previous episodes.
Yeah, it's also one of my favorite Regina Spektor songs called EAT. I spell it differently, though.
There we go.
Go back and listen to the EAT series just a few episodes back. But those are the 7 things. Let me recap for you, and then we'll do our coaching call and answer some questions here, because we have some questions in the comments. Number 1, create a stellar about page. Modify it, make it about yourself. Add photos to it. Add photos of yourself. If you're hiding behind your business and you don't want to put photos of yourself out there, I can't help you. You're not going to win. Yeah. Second, location pages. So get your location pages dialed in. Number 3, videos on the website. So video testimonials and an about video. Start there. Also, I didn't mention this, but if you want to know what kind of videos to create, you want some scripts and stuff, go to carrot.com/video. Plug in your email. I put together a whole guide with topics, scripts, everything. So if you're new to video, go there. Number 4, they're going after organic keywords. This seems like a no-brainer. We're talking about what people need to do to rank, but they're not keyword stuffing, and they're doing good keyword research. Number 5, they're doing linking right. They're link-friendly. Internal linking, so using the Niche Authority Builder, the tool that we have, and they're also building backlinks, which we'll dive deep into that in a sec. Number 6, testimonials. And number 7, they're creating high-quality, authoritative content. I'll just to drive this home, it's content that people want to read. Don't get so hung up on SEO and all the perfect keywords. If you focus first on quality content that humans want to read, that's what Google wants to see. So make sure it educates them, answers all of their questions thoroughly and in a concise manner, and then you'll crush it. All right. That's the end of the podcast. We're going to dive into the coaching call. So if you have any questions, put some comments in the chat, and let's do it.
Dude, I'm excited. So before people hang up the podcast, once again, we're introducing you to concepts and ideas in the podcast and these short snippet videos under 15 minutes. But the real magic in the depth is in the Facebook group. So go to community.carrot.com. Join us in the Facebook group. Ask your questions. We'll answer them directly, whether it's live on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time or any day throughout the week. Our team is in there. Another 1,000+ Carrot members are in there as well, all helping each other towards success, guys. Community.carrot.com. The real magic happens over there. We'll talk soon.
Yes. Thank you, Trevor. All right. So diving in, our first question here. We'll do a couple questions. We'll do a deep dive, maybe come back to some of these questions. Some of these are easy to answer. Tony, props to you, man. Tony Stewart in the Facebook group, man, he's been crushing the 30-day challenge.
He's been lighting it up, man. And that's what we want to see, Tony. So I'm pumped that, number 1, you're being a great example for others. Number 2, you're taking it seriously. A lot of people are going to do 1 day, 2 days, and kind of lose steam and get distracted. So kudos to you for not getting distracted. And that's why we're here. Like, we want to help those who want to be helped. And if you're willing to step in and do the work, or willing to invest in helping and having others do the work for you, we can get you on the right path, get you in the highest performing product, and help you nail it, man. So kudos to you.
He said, this has been I'm reading one of his comments from yesterday. He said, fired up. This has been a great challenge that resulted in a website that I am, 1, proud to promote, and 2, already started getting some SEO juice. I'm also thankful that I've learned actions that I can continue to do to improve on the site's effectiveness. He said, next step, going through the checklist to make sure I'm not missing anything, and then on to the leads training. Tony, if you guys do us a favor and tell every other care member to do that, they'd be having success. Do the training, do what we teach, you'll find success. Okay, so Tony's first question, he said, I know that the ultimate litmus test is our resulting lead flow. But with all the ways to check on our progress and our SEO journey, like Google Search Console, free info on Moz, the free SEO audit from Carrot, and all of the great SEO tools in our Carrot back offices, it would be helpful to know how often we should check our gauges and what we should be looking for. That's a fantastic question, man. Probably do a whole episode on that.
Dude, an amazing question. So what I've done kind of in prep for that question, because I had a chance to look at it sooner, I'm going to pull up a couple sites, okay? And so I'm going to hop up in here. There's a few things, a few concepts, Tony, that I would guide everybody listening to this on. So let me share the screen. Yep. And I'm going to pop into here to Mr. Beau Hollis's website, if he's okay with that. I know we talk quite a bit, and he's on here likely as well. And the first concept is, with SEO, it's completely different than with Google PPC. Google PPC, when you start something out in Google PPC, I want to be looking at the campaign data daily, right? Every single day. I launch an ad. I know money is going out the door. I want to know what my click-through rates are. I want to know what my opt-in rate is, what my cost per lead is. I want to know what my quality score is, and continually update the quality score to get that higher, which gets my lead costs down. If I go a whole month or even weeks in those early days in my Google PPC campaign without diving into the data and looking at those gauges, like you call it, Tony, then that's where a campaign can really go off the rails. With SEO, it's kind of opposite. So I don't want to day trade SEO data. I don't want to day trade SEO metrics. And what that means is SEO changes over time. Now, you can have changes that happen kind of quickly sometimes, but in general, SEO changes over time. What you do today will likely impact your ranking in weeks or sometimes months, right? Very rarely what you do today will actually impact today, but it sometimes can. It sometimes can. And so I'll give you some rules of thumb. What I like to do is, in the early days when I'm getting something going, I'm really not going to pay attention to my gauges or these a whole heck of a lot. Maybe once every other week. But when I start my SEO, I want to get a baseline. So I'm going to hop into the domain overview dashboard. We've got some really cool stuff coming out for you guys. Keep an eye out for some big SEO changes we have coming in August for y'all. Really, really cool stuff. So I think everyone's going to enjoy it. Even more value, even more usefulness to help you guys get the right data to make the right choices with your SEO. So you'd pull up the domain overview. And I would look at this after I launched my site and look at organic keywords. And the way that our current tool is today, to then look at what keywords you're actually ranking for, this is the first thing that I would then do. Okay, I would come in here and I would type up my own domain name in the Keyword Explorer, which is a part of the SEO Tools add-on, and I would add the keywords in here that I'm already, that I want to rank for, that I'm on page 1 or maybe page 2 or page 3 for. So I would just come in here, click these ones. He's ranked number 1 for that. Add them to your keyword tracker. Fill up your keyword tracker. That's number 1. See where you're already ranking, and then fill up your keyword tracker with as many keywords as you've got allocated with that default plan. Once again, we have some big, cool announcements coming out in August around keyword volume to kind of plant the seed, but keep an eye out for some cool stuff coming. But your keyword tracker volume. So I would do that first. Once you have those tracked, I really wouldn't look at my keyword tracker more than probably once every other week, right? Definitely don't look at it daily. But it's a once every other week kind of a thing. I'd pop in here in my rankings deal. One reason for that is when people are looking at the rankings going up and going down, it can really throw you into a tizzy. Because if you see your ranking going down one day or for a week, a lot of people will panic and start to do a bunch of things, which may make it worse. Just see what it looks like over the next 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, we're looking for trends. We're not looking for changes. So I want to see trend-wise where it's going. Trend-wise, it might go up and go down on the daily basis, but trend-wise over the weeks or the months, it might go up. Right. So as long as I'm seeing it trending in the right direction, even if it bumped down for a day or two and bumps back up, I go, okay, something's happening that's good. Okay. So maybe every other week in this side of things. There's a couple other features that you have access to and some other ones that we're rolling out soon. We have a site audit that's coming out soon. Site audit, I'd probably run the site audit monthly. Right? You don't need to dive into that daily to see what broken links do you have, what issues are there, things like that. That's a monthly run that audit, see what needs to be adjusted, see what needs to be changed or fixed, and then have that be a monthly cadence.
Yeah, there's always going to be little things to fix, little things to update or optimize. And you don't want to just constantly be making little tweaks.
And if you do it daily, if you're doing that audit daily or even weekly, it can get stressful.
Yeah.
And we're really big on evergreen marketing, right? Where do the things that buy you back time, but also get you leverage over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And with us running a site audit weekly or daily, there's not much leverage there because not a ton is going to change on your site audit day to day unless you're making massive changes all the time.
Yeah.
But on the monthly basis, there is value there. So 12 site audits a year, that's not a big deal. And then go make the changes it tells you to make. So once again, keep an eye out. We've got some crazy cool announcements there. Look at your ranking tracker. Like I said, ideally, I'm probably going to look at it monthly and then audit how I'm doing there. But maybe in the early days, or if you're making a bunch of big changes, you just launched a bunch of location pages.
Yeah.
Or you're starting a basic backlink campaign or something. Yeah, I might look at it every other week. Other than that, like page speed and those types of things, anytime you make big changes to your website or you add a bunch of photos to a page, I would run that page through a page speed tool. And then just see what do I need to do. Usually photos and things like that are some of the big culprits, or if you add scripts to it. So you have to make big changes, or you add scripts, or you add a bunch of photos or a bunch of content to a page, then I would run it through a page speed tool. So that's where I do it, Tony. I'll recap for you. Once a month on the audit, okay? And then do anything that is needed or the high leverage things. Once a month or every other week on the ranking tracker, once you get those in there. Backlinks, that's really only when you're going to be running a backlink campaign. You want to see what's kind of catching there, or if someone else is running it for you. And then the site page speed deal after you launch your site, and then after you make big changes on the page. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I guess if I were to give one last thing, if we're going way deeper. All right, so if we're going way deeper and you're going, well, what about looking at other additional keywords? What about the Keyword Explorer? That I'd probably do on a quarterly basis because
finding new keywords to go after.
Yeah, because this means now we're making a plan, and Tony, I like to plan on the quarterly basis, execute on the monthly, weekly basis, and so maybe once a quarter, if you want to do the work yourself, you'll pull away, grab our training on the 3 lead per day, and go through the keyword research and go through some of the other trainings that we have for free on the YouTube channel. And go, cool, I already got my location pages launched. Now I want to come out and find new keywords I can go after. Do that once a quarter. Spend a few hours coming in here and saying, okay, I'm going to put in the top few competitors in my market. Go to your market, and let's say you're in, Biloxi. Sell my house fast, Biloxi, Mississippi. I'm going to type that out. Let's say I'm not ranking there yet, but I'm going to grab a few of these top competitors. So let's say this one is one of them. That is a Carrot client or Carrot member, which is amazing. I'm going to grab that one and I'm pop that in the Keyword Explorer, and I'm going to see what other keywords they're ranking for. And so it goes, oh, sweet, man, 44% of their traffic in the Keyword Explorer, their organic traffic, is going to their homepage for the phrase "We Buy Houses Cash," and it's likely localized in that market. Right? Sell my house for cash. People who are searching that in that market are they're landing on it. So 16% of their traffic, according to our Keyword Explorer. We buy homes quick. So what I'm doing here, Brady, is once a quarter, I'm going through here, see, okay, well, what words are they using? I see the word quick. Cool. That's an entity I might want to add to some of my pages. I want to add the word quick a handful of times. But there might be some keywords I'm not ranking for. Once a quarter, I'm going to build that keyword list and go, awesome. What pages do I need to make this quarter? Keyword research quarterly, site audit monthly, keyword ranking tracker monthly or bi-weekly, depending on how much action you're making on it. And then site speed test once you launch it, and or when big changes are made on a page.
That's good stuff, man.
Yep, cool.
David, our recent friend, our new friend from Carrot Camp, has a question. about links. He said, do external links count, such as your article states some facts and you link Wikipedia to it as a source of your claim, or you talk about a certain city and you include a official city URL, like, linking to, like, maybe you have a page on your Carrot website that's like helpful resources, and you have like the county's website, city website, whatever. The shorter answer is yes. It's a good segue to backlinks. So when we were giving you the Cliff Notes, we were talking about they were doing internal linking and external linking. So external linking is pretty much all backlinks.
Yep.
Let's look at the data, Trevor. So earlier when you mentioned the high and low for how many backlinks, were you talking about backlinks or referring domains?
So what I was looking at was the internal links.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. So the high was 330 in that study. And what I'll do actually is I'll share my screen. I won't share the specific data showing the URL. So I'm just going to share the data that is non-URL specific. Okay, so y'all showing up to the coaching call live, you get the benefit of seeing this stuff that the other people aren't going to see.
You can't get it anywhere else.
That's right. So if you can share my screen there, Brady. So this might be a little bit tricky to see. So on the internal links, this one site here that was ranking really well in their particular market did have 330. Now, it doesn't mean people should be having that, but you can see most of them did internal link several dozen times. So to answer the question that came through on linking to like an external website that has authority, that is one of the things that Google looks at is they do look at the usefulness of your content. They do look at, is this content referencing reputable sources, right? So when you look at Wikipedia, and Wikipedia.com still does rank insanely well for most information searches. If I search a celebrity's name, Wikipedia.com is probably the thing that's going to come up pretty high.
Yeah.
If I search a city, Wikipedia.com is still coming up. If I search a word, oftentimes Wikipedia comes up.
Yeah.
And so we asked the question why. Well, one of it is because it's such a massive site. It's an authority now. But one of the things that they do when you really look at the page now, they have the page structures, they have massive amount of references. So references are all over that page. They have a lot of internal links on that content. When you're in there, it'll internal link to this other person's name that's a part of the bio of the person you're researching that links to their Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Why? Because it shows usefulness. It is helpful to the website visitor to help them navigate that site more easily. But then you scroll down further, what do we see? We see references. And so let's just search up, I'm just going to search up whatever, carrot. Maybe literally the word carrot might pop up in Wikipedia right there. So if we have carrot up here in Wikipedia, it's going to have a bunch of information. You can see all these internal links, right? If I click this one, it goes to their wild carrot page. So we want to have our content, maybe not have this many internal links, because our sites are meant for a different purpose, but we do want to have internal links. Okay, but now let's go to the bottom, and this is where usually they'll have some level of references or citations, right? So Google likes that stuff. So will you at the bottom of yours have a thing that literally says references or citations? No.
Yeah.
But it is helpful to link up if you're talking about that you'll buy homes or you're helping, you're an amazing agent or an HVAC company in XYZ city. You could maybe on the about page or on a deep content page say we help people in this city. And then explain it, and you could link up to some city-specific information on that. Maybe it is the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your city, your city hall website, whatever it is. So
yeah,
I would do in our SEO tool, when you go to the content overview page, let's just go ahead and pop into one of these pages. Let's say it's this page here that is the home page on this particular website. If I were to come in here and go all the way down to the SEO grader down here and go to the audit, there is some information in here that does talk about linking. So you can see on this particular one, it gives a green check mark for linking, and it says a few links are found related to the subject. This is good. So the way that internal SEO tool works is it will look for any links that link out of that page that are related to the subject.
Related to that content.
So it could be an internal link to your own site. That's good. I want to have 2-3 of those on most of those pages. And it could be an external link that's linking out of that page to another reputable site that's topic related. So go for a green check mark on it. Usually what helps me get a green check mark is usually getting 2 to 4 links. It's either internal and or an external linking out.
Yeah. That's good.
Per
man.
page.
So looking at backlinks, want to give some context on number of backlinks, because we get this all the time, and this is kind of juicy.
Yep.
And context really matters here. So maybe I'll do this, Trevor. I'll spout out some numbers, and you can make sense of it.
Let's do it.
If that works.
Let's do it.
Okay, so are you sharing? I'm going to add your screen back. You want to share that spreadsheet?
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so total site backlinks. This might sound like a lot. So we're looking at, in Dallas, 3 sites we looked at: a number 1 ranking, a number 2 ranking, a number 4 ranking.
There we go.
We've got 2,000 links, 1,600 links, and 524 links. It's a large market with a high ranking. Okay, let's go to Charlotte, North Carolina. Number 1 ranking website, launched in mid-2022, only 70 backlinks. That's not a backlink. That's not a lot of backlinks.
Dude, so one thing that I love about this example is it's decently competitive market, great market for real estate. Big town. The website has not been around for 10 years. So that's one objection a lot of people will have is, well, what if there's already 7 carrot sites ranking high there? It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Right? It doesn't matter. Number one, you're on a level playing field because now you're using the tool that data has shown gets you the best result.
Yeah.
Right? Over 50% of all page 1 and top 5 rankings across the top 300 markets in America. We just wrapped up this study. We do the study every quarter. Over 50% are carrot websites for the top 3 motivated house seller phrases. Okay. And that went up quarter over quarter. So the previous quarter, it was in the high 40s. It's up over 50% now, which means carrot clients are gaining more page 1 rankings and top 5 rankings. Okay. The cool thing here, though, is where do those gains come from?
Yeah.
It comes from people that are choosing to say, I'm going to put in the work now, or I'm going to make the investment because I want to get those evergreen leads. And I've seen many people, like Dallas is a good market. There was a guy probably 7 years ago who put in the work, and he got ranked number 1 in Google, and he got a lot of leads and a lot of deals. And then he moved on to other focuses, and he really stopped putting in the work because we get that ranking, we get a little bit lazy, right? We go, okay, I got it, now I get to move on.
Yeah.
But what we forget is just like with networking. So evergreen marketing for me is any marketing that you do once and it works for a long time. Notice I didn't say and it works forever. Right?
Yeah.
You do once and it works for a long time. Offline evergreen marketing, the equivalent is networking.
Yeah.
So if I start networking and building a networking group like we did here with the Young Entrepreneur Society, or that like you all are doing in the Facebook group here, right? It's hard work at the start.
Yeah.
I'm not going to immediately have friends and people want to refer business to me because I got to build trust. I have to show value. I have to step out there and do that. But then eventually I'm going to start getting business. And then eventually it's going to go like word of mouth. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. But let's now assume that I stop going to the networking meetings. I stop adding value to other people. I stop doing that and completely focus. I'm going to keep getting business for a while. But then what's going to happen is the other people who are coming in now and putting that focus in, building those relationships and adding value to that same group that I dominated before, now they're going to start getting the business. And a year or two later, I'm going to go, man, I'm not getting referrals anymore.
Yeah.
Because I stopped investing into it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, guys, is I don't care when you launch the site, you can get a top ranking if you execute, you come on here and ask the questions and get it. But what Brady's diving into on backlinks is I always want to take these big ones with giant backlink numbers and honestly throw them out. Okay. The way that I think about it is this, is I say, number 1, what's possible? What's possible? Is it possible to get a high ranking without 1,200 backlinks? Yeah, it is. We know it is. Charlotte, they've got it with 70.
Yep.
Amazing. It's possible. So then the next question I say, and we've been saying this for over a decade, is amazing. Great. It's possible to get it with low backlinks. What has to be true?
Yeah.
What has to be true is highly valuable content, a useful and easy to navigate website, right? Is building that trust, building that credibility so people want to stay on my website. They want to become a lead. Google likes those user signals. That's not new.
Yeah.
We've been teaching this since 2016. Okay, it's not new. But that's the way that you do it. So now when you see some of these that have 3,200 links, what pops in my mind is, well, did that help them get the ranking? I think it probably did. Is it required to get that ranking? No.
Yeah.
It's not. Will Google look at a lot of those links and maybe only 80 of those links are ones Google's actually counting?
Yeah.
Quite possibly. Because in that Google leak document, Google did specifically allude to the fact, and they've said it. I watched a video with Google's primary SEO educator within Google.com, where someone asked the question about negative SEO. They said, "Well, is negative SEO real?"
Yeah.
And we had someone in our Facebook group ask this question.
I think that was Tony last week too. Yeah, like since the Google leak, are there any things you should not be doing now?
Yeah. So with negative SEO. That's like, I don't like my competitor. I'm going to go to Fiverr.com and buy 10,000 links to their website. They're all crappy, thinking it's going to torpedo their website. The Google rep said that they looked at a lot of examples, like hundreds of examples where people claim negative SEO. And they said they could definitely rule out negative SEO was the cause of their ranking drop in all of them but one. And that one, they still couldn't prove it was negative SEO. They just weren't sure.
Yeah.
So where am I going with this? And I'll toss back over to you, Brady. It goes back to backlinks.
Yeah.
What he said is the way Google looks at backlinks is they ask the question, is it natural that this website would link to your website?
Yeah.
Number two, is there any real traffic coming from that website link to your website? If there's no traffic ever coming from that link to your website, and that website isn't a quality website that's linking to you. The third thing is this in the subject matter? Is it in the realm of the subject matter?
Yeah.
And if they're like, it's not relevant, there really isn't any real traffic coming from that link to your website, right? And it's not a quality website, they don't count it anyway. So when I look at that site with 3,200 links, my guess is probably 90% plus of those links are actually not even being counted by Google towards their ranking. So just think about that, y'all.
That's wild. You know, it's funny, and we haven't really talked about this, but backlinks matter for brand search too. So this internal study we did was for Sell My House Fast, insert city, state. An example, I have a side hustle I launched a website for, I think last winter, a few months ago, and wasn't ranking for brand search at all when you type in the company name, and was not following any of the SEO I was following best practices, but not really like building backlinks or citations. I'm like, I don't need to right now, not priority. Wasn't ranking for brand search, got one backlink a few weeks ago, and then boom, now I'm ranking. It's crazy. It's an extreme example, and it's not it's not the best example because it's not a competitive keyword and it's for brand search, but I'm just showing like a few backlinks or a few of the right citations or backlinks really matter.
Huge.
And can get you ranking for at least your own company name.
Dude, like Real Estate Dasher on here says, I have 3 backlinks and I'm ranking high, and some of the keywords I'm ranking number 1. And that's the thing, it's about quality. Yeah. Right. Google wants to know what is actually going to solve the problem of their prospect. And it's far more than just, you don't want to game the system. Gaming the system is not going to work long term.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Let me show one quick thing, though, on the screen around backlinks once again. So, y'all, one of the tools that you may not realize that you have access to, and we're going to continue to innovate and continue to look at this, is the backlinks tool. So with our SEO tool add-on, you can pop over here. And at any given time, with the domain overview, we're going to give you some basics. We're going to say, hey, here's the total keywords you're starting to rank for organically. Here's some of the traffic. Here's the authority score, which you can rank really high. Like this site here is ranking really high in a pretty competitive market with an authority score of 12. So you don't need an authority score of 20-something. Okay. Now, there's a lot of links on this one. Are all those links helping? I would probably even venture to say that 90% plus of those 7,600 links are probably not even actually being counted by Google at all, right? But some of them are, definitely. So then you can pop into here to the backlinks tool, and you can see more deep information. Well, of the 7,600 backlinks, 142 different website domains are linking there. So I go, okay, so it's really 142 sites are linking to this site. Yeah. Probably on a bunch of different pages. Okay, so then we can go down here and look at other information, and we have training on kind of how to analyze backlinks a little bit more deeply, and we'd be happy to, if you guys need additional information, let us know what your questions are around backlinks, and if that's a topic a lot of y'all want to learn, we can bring more content here on these weekly coaching calls. But what we do want to do is we want to make it look natural. Right, so you ideally don't want to have all followed backlinks, because that's not natural. A good hunk of them maybe no follow. And so I would probably, if I was running this site, I'd probably like make sure that some more of my links are maybe no follow. I'm not going to give a certain percentage there, but that's something potentially. And then down here, we want to look at the trend over time. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that a downward trend in links is bad. If you have a ton of links, and let's say that some of them are irrelevant, it is probably a good thing that some of those links are slipping off. It just means that either the tool that's tracking the link couldn't find the link anymore, or it means that the website actually that the link was on just doesn't exist anymore. That page doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Or the link itself is gone. And in a lot of the bad kind of spammy backlink building, that's natural. That over time, that page or that website just won't exist, and then those links will fall off sometimes.
That's good, man.
Yep. And then it'll go through the details of your backlinks. So you can pop into here and even look, and this is the last thought on it, is especially if you're paying somebody to build backlinks for you, this is the way that you can tell if they're likely going to be quality and impacting. You got to
be monitoring their work. Yep.
Yeah, because if you see in here that there's a bunch of links that are just nothing to do with the neighborhood of your business, that the topic is completely wrong, like switch my sockets, I don't know. Odds are, well, number one, the site isn't even live anymore, so that's one of those backlinks that will likely fall off. But that's what happens with spammy backlink schemes oftentimes. Those links we buy on those other sites, the site might not be there in 6 months.
Yeah.
But 365 land buyers, that's relevant. That's cool. That's probably another Carrot client. They decided to find a way to link together in content. That's good. The Pinterest page, Simply Sold Real Estate, they set up a Pinterest page that links to this. Great. That's good. That's really good. Shirley Matthews Wix site. Let's pull that puppy up there. How home buying companies near you that offer quick cash. So this is probably a PBN, if I had to guess. This is probably a website in a PBN network, a private blog network that is literally built just for backlinks. So could this be helpful? Maybe. Long term, probably not. Short term, quite possibly. So yeah, use these tools, y'all, and then just make sure that they're relevant in some way, shape, or form.
That's good, man. We got one more question, then we could dive into the data a little bit deeper, and then we're going to wrap it up in just a few minutes here. But David said, how much can a link like to a local government page, like a Chamber of Commerce page, how much can that help? I think my answer is you got to look at it as one piece of a larger puzzle. Yeah. So Google wants to see variety in your links. They want to see relevance. They want to see that they're helpful. They're related to the content on your website. I mean, in this study, we've seen that a handful of really high quality links can move the needle. And so I think it depends on the market size and how popular that website is. If it has high domain authority, I wouldn't say that like you get a few links like that to Chamber of Commerce, that's not going to, boom, now you're going to have a top ranking because you linked out to Chamber of Commerce a few times. Yep. Or you have a backlink from them. But I think it's effective as a larger piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to kind of wax philosophical on backlinks here for a couple minutes. There's the debate that is always going on of, do you need to build backlinks? Are backlinks garbage, right? We've heard that discussed in this space, that anyone who's saying you need to build backlinks, that's wrong. It doesn't work. Yeah. So what I always do is I'm gonna pull away from my own opinion for a second. Then I go, let me look at the data. Yep. Right, let me look at the data of not what I think, but what data shows and what Google says. Now, Google's really cryptic, right? Google rarely says, yes, you need to do this, and it's this much of this. Yeah. Right? They'll usually drop hints and clues, but you have to always ask the question, why did they drop that hint and that clue? Rarely, if ever, other than that Google leaked document, which was not intentional by Google, rarely, if ever, will I ever see Google say, you should do this thing for sure to rank better in Google and do this much of it. Yeah. Why? Because that gives you insight into their algorithm. Their algorithm is their secret sauce. So if they tell you you should do this and this much of it, that literally gives you a data point to say our algorithm is keyed for this thing. Yeah. But what they will do is they will say, well, we really want to make sure that your website is usable by the end consumer, and we have found that video on a web page, so therefore video might be a smart thing to do. right? So it always goes back to the end consumer. So let's go back to backlinks and then .gov or linking to or getting a link from a nonprofit charity or government thing. So Google in the leaked document, it does clearly say, not in like plain English, go get backlinks. It clearly shows that backlinks are a key part of the algorithm still. Okay, but like I said, not volume of backlinks, not gaming the system, but truly using backlinks from reputable sources, like we explained before, where the backlink ideally actually gets some people to go to your website, real people to go to your website, not just the spam link out there, that they are still a real part of the equation. Okay, so anyone that's arguing against backlinks or that backlinks are just something you should ignore, it's not actually following data or it's not actually following what Google's own guidance shows. Okay, but now where I think a lot of the fuzziness comes is on how much and how, right? So do .gov links help? So there's a couple things here. .gov websites tend to be trusted in general by Google. Okay. .gov websites oftentimes tend to have like a higher domain authority than most other links you can get. They're really hard to get, right? But here's the thing. I've seen .gov links. I did this back in the day. I did this 10 years ago, where there was a software you could plunk in and you can find .gov websites that had this feature open that they weren't supposed to have open, where you could comment on the bottom of their page, like a blog comment thread.
Oh, yeah.
And so you'd go in there and you'd see, oh my gosh, there's 150 comments on there where they're like, hey, great information, whatever, Maryland City. You should also check out my website, blah, link, and it goes over. And did it work? Yeah, I'm sure it passed something.
Yeah.
Is that going to change the game? No.
Yeah.
It's not. Like Brady said, guys, with links, whether it's your website content linking out to another page or a link coming to you, Google's going to look at it and say, is this relevant? If it's the Douglas County, Oregon maintenance department page and somehow I weaseled my way into bribing the maintenance website person to link up my website, will that help? Maybe short term, but I think Google's going to figure out that it's not relevant and it's going to look at that content and say, why would this website link to this one? Doesn't make sense, so we're not going to count it.
Yeah.
Right? Google's really smart. So yeah, if you can get a legit .gov deal, here's a couple examples. Let's say you're a vendor of a government agency. Let's say you're an approved contractor of a government program, and they are able to link your company or your website. Heck yeah, those are great. Those are relevant. Those would be amazing. Let's say you spoke, and I've done this before with a college that I went to. Let's say you spoke at an event or you spoke at a class at a college, and they link up your website. Heck yeah, that's good. I was on the board of the college that I went to, Oregon Institute of Technology, and in there they link up your website if you have one, your business. Great, that counts. That's good. But it's got to be legitimate trade of value, not just gaming it.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. I think that's all. It looks like that's all the questions we have. I want to say congrats to Real Estate Dasher. He said he's got only have 3 backlinks, and he's ranking high in his market somewhere in Oklahoma, and he launched his website only 2 years ago. So good work, man.
Heck yeah.
Last couple notes I'll throw out on this data we've been looking at. I took the dates that these websites were launched and got the averages. So the average age of the websites that we looked at that are that have top rankings is 3.5 years. That's not that old. 3.5 years goes by pretty quickly. And also, there are a handful of sites. We have early 2023, mid 2023, a couple other early 2023s. We even have one in here in Phoenix that has a number 4 ranking that was launched in early 2024 in the last 6 months with not a lot of backlinks. So, yeah, there's some hope there if you think that, I can't compete if I haven't had a website up for 10 years. Like, you definitely can, because people are doing it in competitive markets. The other thing I'll mention we didn't touch on is the authority score. So I mentioned this in the blog post. The average authority score goes from 0 to 100, but it can be misleading or deceptive. Like, you think 0 to 100, you would assume, I got to have an 80 or 90 or else I suck. Well, it's not the case. I mean, big companies like Walmart, Amazon are in the 60 to 100 range. So the average authority score is actually only 20 points. 20.3 is the average out of all these websites, and they're crushing it. So I think that's some really important context when you're checking the SEO dashboard in Carrot. You're looking at the authority score. Keep that in mind. These websites that are crushing it are ranging from there's actually one in here. It's in Roseburg. We're such a small market, but it's 1. Their authority score is 1, and they have a number 3 ranking. 4 backlinks, 1 authority score, number 3 ranking. Website's been up for 3 years. It wouldn't take a lot of work to get a number 1 ranking. But they're ranging from 1, 5, 15, 35. 35 that's really good. But yeah, 20 for authority score.
So the kind of the lesson here is hopefully what this does for everybody is, number 1, gives you a couple action items, but number 2, hopefully this makes you realize that you don't have to do a lot of the things that maybe some people are saying with giant backlink campaigns, or you don't have to do many of the things that people say you got to do. So for me, while it does take work to rank in Google, I think the bar is lowered a little bit on probably how much people think they need to do. And I'll kind of run through a couple of those things. Number 1, I don't need a website that's aged 5 or 10 years, right? Great. The data shows it didn't have to be aged that long. Number 2, I don't have to have 3,000 backlinks. I don't even have to have 300. I don't even have to have 1,000. I don't even have to have 300.
Yeah.
Right? I could have several dozen really good quality ones and save my money from spending, on buying a bunch of thousands of links. Now, once again, can thousands of links help? Heck yeah, it can. I'm not going to say it can't. I'm saying it's not needed. But then that's where we have to ask the question, and we have to say, well, what am I actually going to do?
Yeah.
If I'm not going to put in any of the energy or effort over a medium to longer period of time to go get a few dozen good backlinks, then I may need to go purchase the best quality links I can purchase. Because that will then help. So it's not a never do this thing. It's a here's the best way to do it. But then if you're just not going to do that, then this also would work too.
And that's why you see websites with hundreds or thousands of backlinks, is because they not always are going after the handful of really high quality backlinks. Google said like one really high quality backlink, an intentional backlink that's relevant to your content, related to your topics, can be more powerful than 50 low quality ones. So if it takes 50 low quality ones to, as a rule of thumb, equal 1 quality one, that's why you see people with thousands. So don't get thrown off by these when you hear about someone with, I need 3,000 backlinks to compete. Probably not true.
And to prove that, there's a data point in that spreadsheet. I'll just read it off. No reason to show it. That there were those links in the Dallas market, right? So those sites that were ranking really, really high in the Dallas market. We're talking number 1 ranking, number 2 ranking, number 4 ranking in that market, all Carrot members. So one of them has 2,000 backlinks. The other one, 1,600 backlinks, and the other one, 524 backlinks. Okay. Now, the odd thing, and this may make sense, may not, is the number 1 site had the most backlinks. The number 2 site had the second most backlinks. And the number 4 site had about a quarter of the number of backlinks the number 2 site has. So you look at that and go, oh my gosh, backlinks is directly correlated to ranking number. Well, here's my prediction. I could be wrong on this, but here's my prediction, is when I look at authority score now, authority score for the website that has 2,000 links was 24, which is really good for this market. The authority score for the site that was ranked number 2 that had 1,600 links was 17, which is pretty darn good too. But the authority score for the number 4 ranked site, which had 524 links, was actually 35. And so a good hunk of an authority score is figured by quality of links, is figured by quality of content and other things. So it's not all just links. Could be age of domain is worked in there and some other things. But that site was launched in 2023. It's the newest site of all of them. Has the fewest amount of links. And it's ranking for a lot of keywords as well. So just recognize, guys, volume of links is not directly correlated to authority score. Because odds are that site that has 2,000 backlinks, like I said before, likely well over 1,000 of those links aren't even being counted by Google towards their authority score and towards their ranking. Likely.
That's good stuff, man.
Yep.
Sweet. Well, I think that's all the questions we got for today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being active and engaged with us. It makes us a heck of a lot more fun.
Heck yeah.
Let us know your feedback. Either shoot us a comment, email me, brady@carrot.com. I'd love to know. But join us next week. Trevor's going to be out. We're going to be next week, man.
Dude, so I'm going to be, it's Fair Week.
Oh, yeah.
And so going to be knee deep in sheep on Thursday. Yeah, my son Colton, he's big into sheep. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you can see the sheep on my IG posts every week.
Yeah.
But Trevor.Mauch, M-A-U-C-H, check me out there. But yeah, we're going to be, he's showing on Thursday, showing on Wednesday, so I'll be knee deep in Fair.
Good luck to him, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So next week, it'll be me and Mallory. We're going to be talking about easy design tweaks to make to your Carrot website to make it stand out. Really small, easy tweaks you can make to a stock Carrot website. So low lifts. What's the low-hanging fruit?
And guys, before we wrap this one, so this format we did today is different. Yep. And we want you guys to give us feedback. Give us feedback in this thread. Give us feedback through our customer experience team. Give Brady feedback directly, brady@carrot.com, because we want to make this for you. Like, this is for you. And these are every Thursday, 11 o'clock Pacific time. And this format, just to remind you, is that first 15 minutes or so is we're giving an overview. It's a bite-sized, evergreen marketing show that gets packaged as our podcast and a YouTube video to introduce you to new ideas, to give you the hey, here's this thing that is out there that you can do in marketing. We're going to give you a little bit of information about it. What we then do in the coaching call portion here in the Facebook group, and you can get the recording of this probably in the YouTube channel, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Is then we're going to do a deep dive on that topic. We'll do screen share. We'll show examples like we did today, and we're going to take Q&A. So leverage these as your spot to come to our team, to get your questions answered, to double down, get your rankings better, get your leads up, get your sites dialed in the way that you want them. Every single Thursday, 11 o'clock Pacific. Lock it on your calendar.
Rock and roll. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching. We will see y'all next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Toodaloo. Toodaloo. Who says toodaloo? And
beautiful.